Hey everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notify button so you know when you're getting new episodes. And we just want to grow this project. I thank you in advance. Without further ado, let's get it rolling. The Shout Out Show. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. This is me, your brother Preacher Monster, host of the Shout Out Show. Please let me welcome you. If this is your first time coming to the show, I hope that we're able to give you a quality experience here on SOS. And if you're part of the SOS family, SOS soldiers, I want you to stand up and give yourselves a round of applause. I appreciate you coming to the show because you are the ones that make the show. One day we're all going to look back and go, man, you remember that show? And I'm going to say, yeah, but I remember it with family. So brothers and sisters, let me get to this right off the bat. First of all, I want to give another heartfelt condolence to Brother Jacob, who was gunned down in Kenosha, Wisconsin. That show was unraveling an attempted murder in Wisconsin. As I talked to my consultant producer today, I said, you know, the information that I gave during that show, all praises to Allah, was incredibly accurate. And it led me to want to expand on it today, but in a very different way. Because at this point in time, I want to start putting pieces together. Because I believe that too often, too much, we look at things in isolation and we don't congeal an understanding for exactly what we're seeing. When I say congeal an understanding, means like we're going to talk about bits and pieces, and we're going to put them in a gumbo, and we're going to put all the ingredients in, and we're going to taste that gumbo. But that gumbo may not taste nice, if you will, because sometimes the truth doesn't taste nice. It doesn't smell good. Sometimes you have to tell the truth about what it is. So my first address is going to be to all my African-American brothers and sisters, my Muslim brothers and sisters. Here is the deal. For everything that you're seeing, for every unjustified shooting or shooting of an unarmed black man, black woman, Latino, here's the deal. It's part of a process. You're getting hustled, okay? You're getting hustled. The same time they're talking about this brother being shot in Kenosha, which is very important. 2017, nobody ever heard about Muhammad Muhammad Jr. I'm talking about in Arizona, a guy who was choked out by several police because he wanted to use a bathroom and they wouldn't let him use the bathroom because he had to take his dog with him to use the bathroom. Okay, I understand, but it should not wind up in death. My point is, it's time for everybody to put on their big boy and big girl pants because here's the hustle. The word we don't use when we talk about all these issues about social justice and social equality is the fact that we don't want to say that the things that are happening are part of an agenda. Brothers and sisters, Muslims, non-Muslims, the learned and the unlearned, this is a part of an agenda. Let me explain what an agenda means, brothers and sisters. It means that someone had a subset of plans for you, a subset of plans for your value, your skill set, that you are not necessarily aware of. However, your participation is vital in that agenda becoming successful. There is a reason why you will continue to see the things that you are seeing. The death of the brother in a Muslim brother, and let me say this, a lot of people jumped on board and they showed this clip of Brother Jacob's father in Kenosha giving out Fatiha, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I loved it. Yes, we don't even know if he was a Muslim. I'm talking about the victim. That said, brothers and sisters, you have to move away from that. You have to move away from this weak affinity that we hear the Adon. Listen, anybody could do the Adon. It doesn't mean that you're a faithful servant. Anybody can recite Quran. Doesn't mean that you have a good heart. I'm saying we hope that people have good hearts. We're saying they hope they have good intentions. But this is a state of war. And in a state of war, people have strategic agendas. Wake up and stop acting like suckers. That's number one. Assalamu alaikum, big sis. Hope all is well. Reed, I hope your recovery is coming along well. But I got to get back to work. This system, if you go back and watch what I talked about, unraveling an attempted murder in Wisconsin, I gave you all the facts about the state of Wisconsin, all the facts about Black life in the state of Wisconsin, what it was strategically, and how it ties into this whole idea of what we're talking about now, which is the agenda of Black suffering. You have two options when you deal with Black suffering. As my mentor says, you either get better or you get bitter. Here's the deal. We are getting bitter. When I say getting bitter, it means we are emotional. We are not succinct. We're not communicating. We are marching, but we're not looking at mobilizing. We're marching, but we're not mobilizing. When you mobilize, you're trying to go somewhere. And one of the things I want you to really understand, because there was a shooting in Kenosha last night. They said with a white militia kid. This kid was 17 years old. He drove from Antioch, Illinois with a pistol, got in a group of protesters, killed two protesters, wounded one, got in his car, and was arrested the next day in Illinois. It's reported that police ran past him while he had a firearm. Brothers and sisters, recognize the agenda. This is not a position about social justice. This is a total realignment of paradigms to make sure that at the most crucial times, that the people, not the people that look like you, not the people who have your best interests in mind, but I mean the people who legitimately have set up an agenda to make sure that they're going to pull value out of you. Whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever you spend is looking to be controlled. This is the last bastion. See, COVID was a warm-up. You see, COVID allowed people to structure and have agenda based on what? Health. Access to good health care. Access to PPE. This game is not very complicated, brothers and sisters. It's the fact that we want to hold out all of our principles and our goodwill and all of that, and you need those things so you don't lose your damn mind. However, you have to look at what it is for what it is. Take all those things away and be very pragmatic and go, you know what? No PPE, send my kids to school. We don't know if it's going to be well. People not wearing masks. You know what I come to the fact? You're trying to kill me. You're trying to kill me. And I'm not saying it with a smile on my face. I'm not being smug, but I'm saying it's so ridiculous because we won't look at it. Stop believing that people who want nothing to do with you all of a sudden want your best interest. Now, when I talked about the police caliphate in the United States, I was very, very clear that the police have an agenda. And the police's job is not to do policing. The police's job is to maintain assets. They maintain assets. If you're not part of the power structure, you are an asset. And not an asset for you, but an asset for somebody else. Now, you may have some independence, but unless you have your own system to work within, people tend to look at you as an asset. And when you're not an asset, people will figure out different ways to extract value from you. It happens all the time. In this situation, in 2020, it's crucial. This will be the last election, brothers and sisters. Mark my words, the last election where people of color won't be the margin. We won't be the margin, the larger margin. We will be the larger margin come 2024. Black won't be white and you can get down with brown. That's what I'm talking about. And these people in these political situations realize that we have to make a paradigm shift in terms of how we control these assets. So let me tell you how Black suffering works. Because somebody asked this. Let me tell you how Black suffering works. Black suffering works like this. You take the worst negative attention-seeking behavior, and you make them look like they're normal. Let me say it again. You take the worst attention-seeking behavior, and you make them appear normal. In other words, you make them appear legal. So you can have people all of a sudden walking around the street like we're in the Wild Wild West with full AK-57s and sidearms and all that stuff because all of a sudden we made it, quote unquote, okay to carry open carry. We can have open carry. We can have our guns and stuff like that. Knowing that when you do that, it's not for protection, brothers and sisters. It's not for fear. It's for intimidation. This was the trade-off way back in the Reconstruction era. They were afraid of black people having guns like they had. And so the trade-off for blacks in the Reconstruction for getting these little political positions that we wouldn't have guns, meaning that when the sun went down and the Klan came to your house, you had no means of protection. Black suffering has become a commodity. I would call it BS, but I will call it BS. If you could put it on the stock exchange, we call it BSN, black suffering now. And you can put a stock price to it because this will be the thing that determines this election. All of a sudden, the idea of not the black welfare, not black excellence, not black enterprise, not black entrepreneurship, black suffering is a thing that we are tied into day in, day out. Now, you can argue with me. I don't mind. You can disagree with me. But every time you turn on the television now, we are looking at black suffering. And people are reminded over and over and over and over again. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much schooling you have, education. You're going to look around and you're going to see black people suffering. This is a spiritual poverty model. It pulls us away, brothers and sisters, from our own spiritual orientation. That tells us that we're blessed. That tells us that we should be grateful. That tells us that we are the chosen among the chosen. But in this corrupt and incomplete system, an inconsistent system, we keep trying to find value and meaning. There is none. There is none. And here we are. And I wanted to say this, and I don't want it to come out wrong. We forgive people who don't believe in forgiving. We forgive people who don't believe in redemption. They don't repent to God for actions. And thus, it works for us on a spiritual level, but it's clownish. It's buffoonish for the people who can never appreciate it. They've never appreciated it. And we have to stop trying to give them opportunities to prove their value. Oppressors don't prove their value to you. They steal your value from you. Get over it, brothers and sisters. This is going to be the political piece right now. When you realize, and I've seen this, tonight, the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, boycotted playing their game tonight. Big shouts to George Hill, who says, and Donovan Mitchell. These guys make millions and millions and millions of dollars. LeBron James too. But they said, doggone it, there are things going on in the world that are way more important than me bouncing this ball. That's what they said. And I'm going to give a shout out to the NBA. They put all these people down in a bubble, but it's almost metaphoric. You put them in a bubble with the world. You can't keep them from the world. And now you have professional basketball players saying what? Saying what? I don't feel safe. You live in multi-million-dollar homes, but they realize if I'm not in that multi-million-dollar home and I'm walking down the street, I'm just like the brother in Kenosha. I'm just like the brother in Georgia. I'm just like the brother in Arizona. Now here's the piece you might not like. Black suffering is meant to make sure that you have fear from your oppressor. That you have fear from your oppressor. That when they say jump, you say how high. If they say jump, you say you jump up in the air and you don't come down until they tell you to come down. It's a large, large fallacy that people believe that we still operate that way. One of the things that one of my teachers talked about was an impetus for Black excellence. You see, in America, Black excellence is absolutely despised. It's absolutely despised. Meaning, I thought I had you dead to right. I knew I could defeat you this way. You'll never win. And Black excellence goes, oh no, I can win. Not only can I win in a way that you can't win. And has grown and grown and grown and given a lot of people a lot of bad feelings. Let me give a shout out. Walaikum assalam, Amir Khan. Thank you, brother, for coming on the show. But now here's the rule here. Here's the rub. A lot of folks don't understand that Black excellence is a response to two things. In most calls, it's a response to spiritual nature, wanting to get better. That's number one. But number two, Black excellence is a response to white oppression, a white oppression that we don't respect, a white oppression that we know is a losing cause, a white oppression that we know is a fallacy, an oppression that we know it cannot be, the only way it can be sustained is they have to find new people to visit it upon. And when I say that, I'm saying this, that we have to produce more models of Black excellence, more Latino excellence, more Muslim excellence to crowd out, if you will, to crowd out the sounds of inferiority and oppression. I know, many of you also know, when somebody's scared. I know when somebody's scared. I know when they can't perform. I played sports for a lot of years. I know when I would walk on the court to play tennis, I got this guy. When I walk on to play basketball, oh, he can't win. And in most regards, we crush those people. But the way that it's done now is the people who win the often, the most often, they're the ones that we try to silence now. And as a result, I'm saying this. We have to get back to that type of excellence. You see, I always say this, and I've said this before. People wait out the clock on Black excellence. Yeah, people wait out the clock on Black excellence. See, there was a period where you had Black social conscious rap, and people waited it out till you had a young group of people that felt desperate and they weren't educated like they thought they should be, and they didn't know about the system. And so instead of fight the police, it was F the police. Instead of fight the power, it was F the police. And people go, preach, where you going with this? This is where I'm going. For too long, my Muslim brothers and sisters, my non-Muslim brothers and sisters, you've equated, you've I want to say, what's the word? Capitulated to a formula that's not going to work. You know it's not going to work. You know it's not going to work. It's just like trying to convert somebody. We talk about interfaith. The thing about interfaith is everybody gets together, but at the end of those meetings and functions, the Christian is still going to be the Christian, the Jews still going to be the Jew, and the Muslim still going to be the Muslim. No harm, no foul. That's what it is. But in this system, I'm calling on all of us to be aggressive with our intellectual capacity and our intellectual capacity to share information. Talk to the people who don't have the information. They're not scared. They're just not informed. In Kenosha last night, 3 people were shot. 2 of them are dead. Now I'm going to tell y'all something about Kenosha. I'm not a genius. I'm not a gambling man, but I do my homework. The Black population in Kenosha is maybe 11%, 17% Latino, and about 70% white. And the others, you can do your own math. But my point is, I'm wondering who those people were that got shot. It goes back to Black suffering, the agenda of Black suffering. It's not Black people who may have been shot last night. It's the idea that attaching yourself to black suffering could get you shot, could get you injured. You see, bullets are the new way of telling somebody you're a nigga lover. Rubber bullets, white militia, black folk, if you tell me that, I love me. But if you tell a white person that, and some of my immigrant brothers and sisters, if you tell them you're a nigga lover, all of a sudden they change course on what it means to be supportive of black suffering. I'm not telling people not to write your write your statements and all that stuff. But when the statements go away and the bullets go away, who are you willing to teach? Who are you willing to inform? Who are you willing to educate on what the game is that you shouldn't be playing in the first place? I tell you this. If 11% of Kenosha is black, I guarantee, knowing the way Wisconsin is set up, 80% of that black population is concentrated in one area. Guaranteed. When I watched the videotape of Brother Jacob, that was the projects of Kenosha, brothers and sisters. That was the projects of Kenosha. If you pull back, that project looks like a project in Racine, Wisconsin, a project in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, projects around the world. They didn't show you that. You watched a scenario of a police caliphate in Kenosha operating, doing business as usual. Because if there's no camera, brothers and sisters, you might see it, but you wouldn't have saw it as soon as you saw it this time. My point, this brother, I'm going to go back to him, Muhammad Jr. Muhammad Muhammad Jr. This, brothers and sisters, happened in 2017. The only reason you're getting to see the videotape is because his family filed a civil case against the police department. I'm looking at 2017. I didn't really hear about Brother Muhammad back in 2017. Did you? About 2018. No, not 2018. About 2019. No. Yeah. What? Not 2020. We're talking about it now, but you're talking about it in a whole spate of cases now. And the whole idea of black suffering, so you know, is that it conditions you to feel helpless about your situation. This is the negative attention-seeking formula that's flipped inside out. It's negative, it's attention-seeking, but it seeks you. You're not putting it out to the world. It's putting it to you. It's showing you folks that look like you, folks that have the same ideology as you, same skin color, same socioeconomic situation as you, and it's showing that you are powerless. It's showing that the law does not apply to you. It's showing that you don't control your mobility. It's showing that you're a part of an agenda. And if you don't get this from the end of this talk today, use the words agenda. When you look at television, go, what's the agenda? When you're watching TV or sports, what's the agenda? You know, I was not in favor of the NBA players going down, and I love basketball. But the NBA players said, we don't know if we should go down to play basketball because we feel like it might be taking away from some of the attention of George Floyd. A lot of players said that. Should we really be playing basketball at a time that's as crucial as this? I'm talking about basketball players who took part in real protests and advocating serious social change. And they said to themselves, do we really need to be playing a ball right now? You know what they didn't say? What's the agenda? Sure, the NBA put Black Lives Matter on the basketball court and everybody's jersey has a Black Lives Matter or some quote from, say her name or equality or vote or something like that. But hell, you could have done that anyway. You could have done that anyway. But the agenda was the league had to keep playing to make money, to make sure the owners keep getting that dollar, y'all, keep getting that bag, y'all. And here we are at this point in time. And I'm not calling anything, brothers and sisters. This is all revealed to me, just like it's revealed to you. They now sit there in Orlando, Florida, in a bubble going, what was the agenda to do this? And I want to commend them again. You're boycotting. You know why? You're not boycotting because you want to disrupt the system. You're boycotting because you have legitimate concerns. And more importantly, hear me out, brothers and sisters. They are boycotting because they're not afraid. Woo! They're not afraid. Now, let me say this to my brothers and sisters. And then I'm going to let you go. Because I'm hungry. The idea of black suffering is to make sure on your best day, or the best day of your life, the best day of your family's life, when you're enjoying all of these platitudes and blessings that Allah's put on you, a little thing inside your mind is fearful. Fearful that somebody could take it away. Fearful other than somebody Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can take it away from you like that. Can lock you up, take away. We've seen all the stories. And they count on us being fearful. That's always the thing about when they give you something. These people give you something. They have you live in fear because they're going to take it back. I always used to read the stories about the sharecroppers that would work themselves. They work harder than when they were in slavery. It was seen. And they had to work even harder because they knew that whatever they produced, somebody's going to take more of it than they should, leaving them less, but they had to work more for less. And I want you to take this idea. There's a change coming. There's a change coming. I've seen it because the people, the younger people, are much more informed now. And so the things you see on social media of black folk getting arrested or unarmed folks being shot, those used to be myths. You hear what I'm saying? Those used to be myths. People used to say, oh, that's a wives' tale. That don't happen. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. But nobody wanted to talk about it till Rodney King. And then they settled down and go, oh, you people making all this up. They ain't making it up. It was a police caliphate way back then. And you're foolish to think that it hasn't changed. But something is changing now. There's a flip. The flip will happen during this election in 2020 and 2024. The flip now is we will develop young people who will take the idea that you are trying to make them be in fear of your system. And what you're going to do is produce young people who have absolutely no fear of you. So brothers and sisters, I appreciate you. I want to see you back tomorrow. I want you to have an amazing day. Stay blessed. Preacher Moss, stay strong. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother out, click that subscribe button, click that notify button, and I'll see you again on this side of the microphone. You probably wonder what that smell is. That's me. I smell good. And the reason I smell good is because I use oils from Tarif-Al-Tar. So I'm not saying you can't smell good. I'm not even saying you stink. I'm saying you have the opportunity to smell exquisite. Check out TarifAltar.com for some of the best oils and scents in town.